Welcome to Dorks on Sports, a podcast about four dorks talking about sports. My name is Daniel. Joining me here today is Curtis Eastwood, as always. Curtis, how are you?
I'm doing well.
Yeah, I think that's I think that's where we all are.
Yeah.
Allanah, how are you holding up over there?
Fire Ken Norton.
Yeah.
I would say that like Groot, but I don't have the vocal.
Yeah.
Fire Norton.
That's all you're going to say today. It's just Fire Kid. You're getting the campaign started early.
Yeah.
It seems like we always have one of these Fire Ken Norton campaigns that get started every season that he took over. It's just this one is starting like super early.
He doesn't know what he's doing.
I agree
in any way.
Yeah, but you know who does know what she's doing? Millie Meckler.
Hey, I am doing all right. Recovering.
Yeah.
Licking our wounds. Ready for the next week.
Those wounds, it's like that needs full on surgery. Like this wound runs deep. All right. So the Seahawks are looking to get back on track after a tough overtime home loss against the Tennessee Titans. We go into a hostile crowd in Minnesota and we just get throttled. I mean, absolutely. This game was never really close. And I have to say, this is maybe the most embarrassing Seahawks team I've seen than the 2009 Jim Mora Jr. team. Like, this was a hard game to watch. At about halfway through the fourth quarter, I just kept having this reaction of grabbing the remote control and just turning the game off. And that is not a reaction I've had in a Pete Carroll coach team where we're always just kind of in it, where you always just sort of feel like even when things look bad, we're going to be able to like get some stops, take the ball away, take the ball down the field, and just have a chance to win this one. But I don't know. I mean, Allanah, is this team broken?
No, it's Fire Ken Norton. Like, honestly, the broken parts are the defense. Like, and if we could actually, hey, can I? I'm recording. Can we just a little quieter? Thank you. Like they're playing off the receivers.
Studio,
yeah. They're playing off the The cornerbacks are playing off receivers 5 to 10 yards. They have no way of stopping a pass play that comes in, and both DJ Reed and Trey Flowers said it's because I don't know what I'm supposed to do in this defense because the scheme is bad. And so, like, it seems to me like what's happened is that Ken Norton. So they had that come to Jesus after the Buffalo game last year where everybody got together and was like, this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm doing. This is what I'm doing. And then they did it and the defense improved over the back half of the year. They went away. They had their off season. Ken Norton comes back in and is like, yeah, but I really want to get this defense installed using the exact same language, the exact same protection schemes and all of those things. And really generally the same players. And they couldn't understand it because Ken Norton can't communicate at all. And thus, it's the same problem, exact same problem that we had last year. We don't
but somehow it's even worse. And the most frustrating thing to me about this Seahawks team is that like I really feel like it's a Jekyll and Hyde team because there are moments where this team looks like it could be the best team in football. We have the personnel. Pete Carroll is one of the best coaches in the league. And it's just not this defense, especially there was a moment when we were calling a blitz against Cousins, who was just picking it apart the entire game, and Bobby Wagner showed his hand early. Kirk Cousins went, look at the middle linebacker, and then and all I saw, you see Bobby showing blitz, and I was like, oh, it's going to be another one of those where the tight end is going to get behind the linebackers, and Cousins is going to get the ball out, and they're going to get like another 11 yards, and it's exactly what happened. I mean, I don't know. They're not playing man with the corners because they can't trust them. The linebackers look like they don't know what they're doing. Here's what it looked like to me. We're all show business people. You've all been in a play that is a dog, like it's just a terrible, terrible production that you're in. That's what Bobby Wagner looks like out there right now. I was like, oh, I recognize that look on his face, but I don't know. I mean, Curtis, sometimes it seems to me that this team just maybe has no faith in its coach. Like, has Pete Carroll lost this team?
I think he's running in danger of doing that. I really do. I woke up this morning, started putting the finishing touches on my little blog piece, and I didn't even go into this last night when I was drafting it up and typing it out. But I started to think, could this be it? Could this be the end of? And there's been this goofy war on Seahawks Twitter about whether or not the Seahawks need to get rid of Pete or they need to get rid of Russell Wilson. I've always been of the opinion that if one of them is going to go, it's going to be the quarterback, just because Pete has so much control. He's vice president of the team. He's got probably more control as a head coach over an NFL franchise than any other coach in the league, including Belichick.
Right.
Like, he is, and
I think he has final say on the GM decisions.
Yeah, I think he. A lot of people blame Schneider, I think, for recent drafts, but I got a feeling it's Carroll going like, yeah, I want that guy there, and Schneider's going like, okay, here we go. They paid Schneider a lot of money to keep him here for 5 more years in this last offseason. And it was speculated that they had to pony up because he was ready to be out.
Yeah.
They made him, there was competition with Detroit. Detroit was looking to lure him over there. And so I just sort of started to think this morning that, careful what you ask for with Pete Carroll getting out of Dodge and maybe getting the boot by Allen if this team underachieves this year, because the next head coach that comes in here, thrown out an example, Doug Peterson, he's from Ferndale, Washington. I actually went to high school with him. He'd love to be up here coaching the Seahawks. I can practically guarantee that.
It's another Jim Mora Jr. right there.
No,
I mean, local guy coming back.
He's a Super Bowl winning head coach. I would put his resume over Jim Mora Jr.'s any day of the week.
It's the same archetype.
But I would just say that I'm not convinced that in that scenario, Russell Wilson would be the ideal quarterback for Peterson to have. He comes from the homegrown Andy Reid tree, and I think they like the taller pocket passing quarterbacks. I don't think he wants to monkey around with some guy who can't throw over the middle of the field. So there's a chance that we could see a total blow up. I mean, if they don't bounce back and play well against the 49ers and the Rams, and this season just is, we're going to be in the hole 1-4.
Yeah.
I do think that there's a lot of this is a lot of Twitter reaction, right? Like, this is 2 games.
There's definite Twitter.
I get that, but
there's definite Twitter reaction. But I'm just
against two teams who are good. Like, Minnesota lost by bad field goals on the first 2 games.
Yeah.
Tennessee is 2-1.
Tennessee is a good team.
And I just think we have to acknowledge the fact that the start of our schedule is hard. Millie.
Yeah, and I have to
hey, hi guys. Hello all. Do you think that this is how they're talking in Kansas City? Because we got the same record. Like, I know that we're all down and we're all feeling it, and we've been going through it all day. And I'm usually not the one who's like, Seahawks have it all. But at the same time, we're recording a little later than usual, so maybe we're a little tired here, but it's not that bad. It's all fixable. It's all doable. It's all the beginning of this season, which means it's all, there's time here. And I think this much frustration and anger, we can go one way or we can go the other, but we got to give ourselves a couple more games on this one, if for no other reason than it's the beginning of the season and we're not the only really good team that's sitting at 1-2 right now.
Pittsburgh
Right.
is too.
And like one of the things that I like to say is, you know, watching a Pete Carroll team for the last 10 years, he's never been great in September and October. You know, his teams always kind of get coached up and then make a run in the latter half of the year. That said, like you know, a lot of these issues to me seem like really broken. And I think that the Seahawks have the personnel to fix it. But man, it looks bad. Millie, what would you say? Like, what do you see things in this team that can improve, particularly on defense? And what are those things?
Well, I mean, now you want me to talk in realities, which I'm not nearly as good at.
Yeah.
I just saw the
We
look
are
on Curtis's face and I just wanted to turn it around.
We are dorks on sports, but we're also homers on sports.
I
So
know.
we are looking for the bright side.
I know. I mean, I don't think that we need to, you know, hit the nuclear option button quite yet.
Quite yet.
But what do we need to fix it? Man, we need a defense that knows what they're supposed to do. I mean, the comments that came out in that press conference and in the other interviews after the game and today really were surprising, because I don't think we've heard the players talk that way before.
Yeah.
Or it's been many years since we've heard that many players. It's not like no one's ever come out and been like, man, I don't know, it's this, and this. But to have that many players from both sides of the ball coming out and being like, I don't know what we're doing.
Yeah.
Is a little scary.
Yeah.
But I think it takes honesty in order to discover what's wrong and to fix it. And if everyone's being honest, then there's hope.
And that, I think, like, that is the one thing Pete Carroll is really good at, is getting his team together, talking honestly and vulnerably, and just kind of getting everybody on the same page. There were moments in that game where it looked like those defensive players were mad at each other because
they're all pointing fingers back and forth at each other.
They were. Yeah. So, I mean, they got to figure it out, because we have a big game against the 49ers on Sunday. And then 4 days later, we got the Rams, who are looking like the best team in the NFL right now. The Rams look scary. Curtis, what needs to happen? I mean, the 49ers have a quarterback, much like Tannehill, much like Cousins. Mm-hmm. They got a great defense and they got a good running game. I mean, this is a recipe to defeat the Seahawks. What is it they need to figure out this week? And what is it they can figure out this week to be competitive against the 49ers this Sunday?
Well, Seahawks got to sort out their defense. I mean, if you're going to play in that bear style defense, you got to play man, but they don't trust the cornerbacks to play man. So they're playing in a coverage that doesn't suit that defense. So then maybe they need to scrap that defense altogether, go back to the traditional, 3-4 cover three defense that Carroll's
which
been
they have the personnel to do.
They have
maybe not necessarily in the corners, but
running that defense. Yeah.
Give Sidney Jones a shot. Trey Flowers is broken.
Yeah. Something. I mean, my opinion, I think they should go out. I think they should sign Richard Sherman tomorrow. I think they should bring in Geno Atkins tomorrow. I don't think they're going to do it. And I don't think they're going to fire Ken Norton Jr. Carroll's too loyal.
Yeah.
It'd be unfortunate if he ends up dying on a hill for Ken Norton Jr. I don't know if that's going to happen. I'm actually not panicked. I'm just very fascinated that it's
a Pete Carroll team we've never seen before. Yeah. How about this? I have a proposition. Mm-hmm. We trade Dallas a first-round pick for Dan Quinn back.
Yeah. Wow. I wish we would have brought him back this year. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. Dan Quinn has that Cowboy defense looking pretty good.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the Jets have our first round pick for, Jamal Adams, who,
Right.
wasn't making a whole lot of plays on Sunday or last Sunday.
Oh
Boom.
boy. Well, why don't we get into our picks then? Millie, how did we do last week?
Oh, well, not well. Because we all picked them to win. Let's see. Allanah had the Seahawks winning 35-30. And had
I got
Russell
the
with
Minnesota score right.
Yeah.
you had Russell with 2 touchdowns to Tyler Lockett.
Nope.
Which, let's just for the record say how incredibly happy I am that my pocket Lockett is apparently just fine.
That was scary looking.
That
That
was
really scary.
as I heard it put his foot released from the turf at the exact last moment in which one's foot could release from the turf and not cause damage to a knee.
They
So-
didn't. The commentators in that game didn't even address the fact that Tyler Lockett was down until well after. I'm just they were terrible.
And then they
by
just
the way-
showed the cart and or not the cart, but all the players
Yeah.
kneeling, and they're just like, oh wow, look how much everyone cares about Tyler Lockett. It's like everyone but you.
Yeah. Mark Sanchez is as good an announcer as he is a quarterback.
Right.
Trousers.
Yeah.
Big burn.
Talked about trousers.
He
He's
did.
been talking
He
about
talked about it, like,
trousers.
oh, he's probably a quarterback who says trousers,
Yeah.
which means he's
And
smart.
then giving quarterbacks or other players on the teams nicknames that nobody's ever called them before.
Oh yeah.
What are you trying to do, Mark Sanchez?
Right.
Calm
The
down.
Hamburglar. And then he called
boy.
him something else later. Anyway, back to Millie.
So I'll try to make this faster. Dan, you had Minnesota losing by just 2 points.
Yeah.
And 2+ takeaways for the defense.
How
Curtis,
many takeaways does the defense have right now for the season?
Isn't it 2? One fumble in the Titans, one in the Colts? Or is it
Yeah,
just
that
one?
might be right. I
Curtis,
don't
you
know.
had the Seahawks winning by 4.
Hmm.
And a pick for Diggs.
I was wrong on all the fronts.
And I had the Seahawks winning by 3 at 24-21. And that they would miss a field goal just because they're Minnesota. Yeah, we did
Instead, that
really
was the
poorly.
Seahawks who missed the field goal.
Mhm.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
somebody had to.
Woof, that
Unfortunately.
game, by the way,
Justin
hats
Tucker
off-
did not miss a field
Justin
goal.
Tucker. Oh man, that was actually that was really cool to watch.
Yeah.
I read something like Justin Tucker had more yards on that field goal than the Bears had all game.
The Bears had 1 passing yard for the game
Oof.
because they
Because of
had
the sacks.
68 yards and then got
Yeah.
sacked for 67 of them.
So I say this.
They should
all
have
that to
offered us
say,
more for Wilson.
Yep.
Things could be worse. We could have Urban Meyer coaching.
Yeah.
So Dan, what's your projection for the 49ers?
I don't feel good about this game. I don't see the Seahawks getting back on track here. I think it's another one of those. We're going to put up some points, mostly in the first half. I'm going to say probably 3 touchdowns and a field goal, and lose it by 6. I don't know. I'm just not feeling good. I just see Garoppolo carving us up like Cousins did and like Tannehill did, and they're going to run it down our throat until they can show me otherwise. And, this Waldron offense has the potential to just put up massive points. And for some reason, he just backs off everything in the second half. I don't know why. It just, he's not doing the aggressive thing and the pre-snap motion stuff and like the no up tempo. I just don't get it. I'm embarrassed.
So I'm hearing 24-30 49ers, or do you want to go higher?
Yeah.
Curtis,
I'll be happy to be wrong.
What's your projection there?
The Jimmy G led 49ers will be triumphant next Sunday against my Seattle Seahawks. I'm going to say 27-23. Seahawks will get some points, but they're just not going to stop Jimmy G. And, they don't have KJ Wright to snuff out the screen pass. That's the other thing I've been noting. Look how Seattle got on all those screens.
Man, Jordan Brooks.
AJ
looks
Wright
like
used to take that away all the time.
Yeah, I just saw that they're getting Nick Bosa back next week as well.
Oh yeah.
Allanah, what's your projection here?
I don't have a lot of faith in the 49ers offense like you all do. I don't think that this is going to be an attractive game to watch. I think that it's going to be like 18-16. And I think the Seahawks are going to pull it out.
Are they going to do it in like 27 seconds and beat one up Rodgers?
Maybe. Like my gut is that we'll see a good first drive. We'll see a good drive at the end of the half, and we'll see a good drive at the end of the fourth quarter. And everything else in between that for the Seahawks is just going to be trash.
Yeah.
But the Niners won't be able to get anything going because what did they score against
Green Bay?
Philly? Right? It was like 19-17 against Philly.
That's
and then
kind
they were what's that?
It was a mutter.
Yeah. I get that's the vibe I'm getting from this one.
Okay.
Seahawks always play San Francisco tough.
Yeah,
that's true. They do kind of have their number.
Yeah.
So I will say, Kyle Shanahan is 1-3 at home against the Seahawks. And I'm gonna hope that what we said last week is true this week, that anger can maybe push us past some stuff. And I want to see the Seahawks actually pull this one out. I think that the random running game for the 49ers is gonna not work for them. And I'm with you. I don't think it's going to be a super high scoring game. I think we get one of those magical Russell Wilson 2-minute drills that we haven't
That'd be nice to see.
gotten to see. And I'm going to take this one to Seahawks 21 and the 49ers 17.
I like it. I'm rooting for you, Millie.
Me too.
Well,
I want to be wrong.
So we had that bad game, with the Seahawks, and then we lost another heartbreaker with the Storm and overtime and knocked them out of the playoffs. That was super sad, but the Sounders are back on top in the West. We got the Kraken, who everybody said, where's the offense? Where's their offense going to come from? And they put up 5 points in a meaningless game. But are you showing your boobs? Yeah.
All right, try to show you a Kraken shirt, but you know what? It doesn't work with the background, so we just.
And then we got the Mariners, who yesterday, they had already won the series against the Angels, but they won another game, and they're making it real interesting. A lot of stuff still needs to break their way. That's okay, because the games, it's just been really fun to watch this September. It's been fun to watch. That said, we've talked about the Mariners. We've said what we need to see from them and what we expect from them. I want to go in a different direction. Millie, I want you to tell me, who is your favorite Seattle Mariner of all time?
Oh no, of all time?
Yeah. Of all time.
Oh.
Like, other than Griffey, right? Griffey.
No. Griffey's not my favorite, actually. I would go with Edgar Martinez.
Words. Sure. Yeah.
Come on.
Edgar's a lifelong Mariner, of course. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm taking the easy route out with Edgar. Yeah. He's great. He's wonderful. My favorite super throwback, though, has to be Joey Cora.
Mm-hmm.
That was my first year with the Mariners.
Yeah.
And there was just something a little special about Cora. But all time, I got to go with Edgar.
I like it. Allanah, how about you? Favorite Mariner all time?
So I personality wise, kind of play. It's Ichiro, and I mean the dude was he was kind of a prick, but like I remember one time he was hilarious too. He was flying to Cleveland and somebody asked him a question and he's like, why would you think I would ever choose to fly to Cleveland? And it was
so funny because Ichiro like presented himself as this like nice wholesome guy, and like underneath it all he was a heel. Like he was a troll.
Absolutely, and he loved it. And
totally.
I mean, like the way that he just like used the fact that he was Japanese to fuck with people because they didn't expect that he understood English, but he was very fluent in English. It just cracked me up. I like that about him. I was also at the game where he got the tying, or where he broke the hits record. So that was a pretty big deal for me. I do want to say that I'm going to go the opposite direction for my other player. Instead of going deep cut, I'm going to go current team, and it's JP Crawford, because the way that guy runs for every base at every moment in time, it is invigorating. I love that guy.
Yeah. Like his life depends on it.
Absolutely.
Curtis, favorite all-time Mariner?
Jay Buhner.
That was going to be mine. The bomb.
guy.
Yeah.
We did it again.
Yep.
He's so goofy. And I just love the way he stood at the plate, and that sort of like, he always just did this little thing with the bat, and it was always like just right up against his chest. And it was just like, what the hell is he doing? But he was good for like 30 home runs a season.
Yeah, and he stayed here. He's a hometown guy now.
Yeah, very blue collar. Yeah,
I love Jay Buhner.
Yeah.
I mean, I really love those '90s teams. That was kind of the Mariners I grew up with. Mm-hmm. I would say if it wasn't Jay Buhner, it's also Randy Johnson.
Oh God,
just as dominant a pitcher as you can get. But there was a grit, there was a toughness about Randy. Like you were kind of scared of Randy Johnson.
He was intimidating.
Yeah, he was really intimidating, and the Seattle teams don't really have guys like that, like just mean. And Randy Johnson.
I mean, his nickname was the Big Unit. I mean, you got to really have an attitude to pull that off. Right.
Yeah,
his face looked like he was spat out chewing tobacco.
Right.
Yeah. Like it's just like, whoa.
Yeah. After a shot of nails.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyway. Yeah.
Fun question.
These Mariners are fun. And I think, I don't know, where are we at right now? So we're recording this Monday. It's about 9:30. Is the game over?
Bottom of the sixth.
We're in the, I don't have my glasses on, but I think we're in the 6th, and it's 8-4 Mariners.
There you go.
I'm changing my position. I think they're going to make the playoffs.
I'm feeling magic. I'm looking at what the
There's
Cardinals
just something
are
about
doing in the National League. The Cardinals have won 17 straight games or something like that, and are now firmly in the playoffs. And I feel like the Mariners are going to win 5 of the last 6, and then. Boston and New York are playing each other. One of those two teams is going to lose.
He is going to drop some. Yeah.
And Baltimore doesn't have the easy, or sorry, not Baltimore. Toronto doesn't have the easiest schedule. So I'm feeling the magic. Yeah, I want it to happen more than I think it's going to happen, but
yeah, I want it.
You dorks, welcome to my world of hopeful Mariner life.
Yes.
We need something right now because the Seahawks aren't giving me a whole lot of hope.
Oh my God, dude. I can't watch another defensive effort like that again.
No, I know.
Can't.
I'll just have to turn off the TV every time the defense takes the field.
We're just going to have to ask Curtis to tell us about the latest episode of What If instead of talking about the Seahawks.
Ooh. I don't mind that. Yeah, we can break down some what if. The what if, like our Jekyll and Hyde Seahawks, also a Jekyll and Hyde TV series.
Starring
Why
David
don't we dork
Tennant.
out on this? We're leading into the dork out segment. I know Allanah has some strong opinions about what if.
I do.
You know, listen,
Oh
this is
yeah, I
this
saw
is
that on the Facebook. That
this
was
is a very
that was
salty
throwing
third
haymakers.
episode. So I say let's lean into it. Allanah, just lay it on me. Give me let's just oversalt it here. I
Yeah.
want your salty what if opinions.
Every single episode has ended formally in the exact same way to one another. So you have the T'Challa episode where it's like he's coming out and then like, oh shit, everything goes wrong for a hot second. You've got the episode with Killmonger where it's this whole story is how Killmonger is taking over Wakanda, and then all of a sudden, right at the very end, they leave this little nugget of Pepper Potts and Killmonger's or T'Challa's sister get together and they're gonna stop him. And then at the end of the zombies, fucking zombie Thanos shows up. At the end of the dumbest episode that they've done, this Thor nonsense that they did, where it's like, oh, if Thor didn't have a brother, then he would turn into a total frat boy. And it's like, he already was a frat boy. Like, why is it that having this messed up relationship with your brother is going to turn you a different direction and save you from being a complete douche nozzle? And then we get to the end of that, and then, oh, look, it's Ultron and
with
it's
the Infinity
Vision.
Gauntlet.
Yeah, like what? Like you don't have to have a twist right at the end of every single episode. It's lazy storytelling, and it just makes these things feel even more ephemeral than they already are. But then at the same time, the chiefs at Marvel are coming out and saying, oh, these are canon. These are totally canon. And it's like, what the I mean, like, I get that you have stories you want to tell from the comics, and I get that these feel like more like the comics, but if you're telling me they're essential to watch, then give me something essential about them. The only one that's been in really any way entertaining for me and that I would choose to watch is the zombie one. And
the zombie one.
Parts of the Carter one. The
second one I really liked
the
a lot,
Doctor Strange
the
one.
Doctor Strange one was awful. I hated the Doctor Strange one. I was like, okay, like this story has been told billions of times. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. Congratulations. Yeah. Like you're doing, and the fawning over it. Like, I understand that you have a connection to it, and I'm not questioning that connection to it. I've specifically Daniel and Curtis. I'm not sure where you stand, Millie. But like, there is so much better storytelling in so many other different places. We don't have to give all of our money to the same company. We can watch other things. We can engage with other narratives that exist in other places. And then finally, the animation sucks. It sucks. I'm sorry. There's no alignment with the sync is completely off in every scene. And then you've got these like, sorry, and the voice acting, it's like you don't have to hire the same fucking people. Like, I'm only watching it at this point because I've been told it's canon.
I like it. No, this is this is exactly the emotion I wanted out of you. I happen to both agree with you about the storytelling, and I kind of love it for the same messy reasons. I love it because I think comic book storytelling is super messy, and I really love that they're sort of embracing that ridiculousness in the what if. I also tend to think, and I don't know if this is true, I tend to think that the what if is building towards something bigger.
That's just because they've told you, oh, maybe we're building towards something bigger. They're not actually delivering that. Everything is it's just all fucking strands. And I get that it ties into Loki, and that's fine. Loki's the best thing they've done in decades. I mean, with the exception of Thor Ragnarok, Into the Spider-Verse, which is kind of like tangential,
Marvel adjacent.
But like those three properties for me, I mean, Into the Spider-Verse is one of my all-time favorite movies, full stop,
I agree,
outside of genre. And then Loki is probably a top 10 TV show for me. It's phenomenal.
Yeah.
And then you go from that kind of storytelling to this, like, whatever sticks at the wall. Now they're going to do a zombie Avengers movie, like, because people like that what if episode. There was actual conversation about that. And it's like, what, but why, just like, but they're trying to source what stories they should tell on top of everything else. They're like, what are people reacting to? Okay, that's the direction we're going. We don't have an idea for phase 4 yet, so let's just plummet from this fucking cartoon.
I have to say, I have only seen, I think it's the first 3 of these, and they're entertaining. But it does feel a little bit, having heard sort of the premise of all of them, when you talk to small children and you ask them to tell you a story, where they go with it, like, oh, and then this other guy shows up and he has the gauntlet, and you're just like,
Got one of those
okay.
stories tonight at bedtime. A girl woke up on an airplane and she was seated next to people who looked like her parents but weren't her parents, and then she went up and found her parents in first class, but guess what, no one else could see them because they were ghosts. It's like, okay, I guess this is a what if episode. And Curtis, I have taken a lot of space. I have sucked a lot of oxygen out of this conversation. I apologize. I know that it's something that you have a deep care about. I think that that's because you grew up on the comics. I did not. So I'd love to hear.
I actually, tell you the truth, I read comics up until probably I was like 12 or 13, and then I stopped. And so I've enjoyed the MCU when they've sort of hit upon certain touchstones of go like, oh yeah, like when I saw the Doctor Strange movie, cinematically, like just stylistically, visually, it looked a lot like the comics of Doctor Strange that I was reading when I was like 11 and 12 years old. And I was really into Doctor Strange because I was kind of a weirdo, so it's like, I feel like the MCU exists to sort of take me back to where I was like a 12-year-old kid.
Yeah. Well, that's what they're doing. They're really hitting those nostalgia buttons, and they're doing a good job at that, I think. Yeah.
And and occasionally they do something completely amazing like Ragnarok, where it's just kind of like,
yeah. Well, before we end this podcast, I want to end it on a positive note of things I'm looking forward to. I have a few things I'm looking forward to in terms of things I'm dorking out about. The first one is the opening credits for the live action Cowboy Bebop reboot just dropped, and I am so fucking excited for this. It was the original music. They're really finding the artistic style of the original anime while making it sort of like their own thing, and I'm just super excited about that. The other thing I'm excited about is the new James Bond movie is coming out pretty soon after like a year and a half of it kept getting pushed back. And lastly, there's a TV show coming out on Amazon Prime based on the enormous high fantasy series, The Wheel of Time. And that was a series that I started when I was like a 13-year-old kid, and like read with my mother. Like that's something we read together and talked about and everything. I have deep emotional attachment to this, and it looks like everything that I want it to be. So there's some things coming down the pike that I'm very, very excited about. Yeah. All right. You know what? I think Millie's right. I like where Millie's headed. I think the Seahawks are going to get this one against San Francisco 49ers, and we're going to right the ship, right?
Yeah.
I think positive. All right.
Ooh, Mariners are now up 11-4.
Oh, there's something positive for you. Yeah. I'm gonna use that for like my sports emotional regulation for the next week. All right. Catch us every Wednesday, Spotify and wherever you get your podcasts. As always, my name is Daniel, for Curtis and Allanah and Millie and the rest of the 12s, saying good night and go Hawks.
Go Hawks. Fire Cat
Go
Martin.
Hawks.
Go Hawks.